Hello everyone, this is Yoda from Team Evil Geniuses, bringing you this video with Nerdstomper.com. This is going to be the first in a two-part series on Pyromancer, and it's going to be commented play of the early game. The next video is going to be commented play of the same game in the mid to late game, and what I'm going to do here is pretty much just follow my hero around and comment on all the things that I'll be doing and explain my actions and such. So right now I'm just waiting for the rune to spawn at this area. For Hellborn, you should always check bottom because it's just a lot easier to walk out in case you get ganked. Another thing is that if your team is not at the rune, as my team is kind of not, like this guy is not doing anything because he's bad, you should generally not check the rune alone. However, after looking at their team, I noticed that they don't really have any good stuns or slows at level 1. Like Hag, if he got Haunt, which no Hags ever do, and Hellbringer could potentially have a slow, and Deadwood has a slow, but their team as a whole is not really good at killing at level 1, so I felt safe going to this double damage rune. As it is, they are actually coming to me, so I do run into a little bit of trouble here, but getting a double damage rune is definitely worth it. So I ran into some trouble, drop like 240 HP-ish. But that's okay because I still got a DD rune and I had all these treaters. So for the item build, I'm gonna talk about that in a forum post I'll be making on the Nerdstomper forum, so be sure to check that out. Right now I'm just starting with these items, and since I have a DD at level 1, I'm gonna be playing really aggressive on the Hag, trying to get as many hits in as I can. Notice how every time there's no creep to be last hitting, I'm just like trying to harass him. It's really important, even when you don't have DD, on Pyromancer, harassment is extremely important because your hero has the potential to be an extremely aggressive laner, and if you don't harass, then you're not taking advantage of that. So that's why you harass. Level 2, I skill Fervor, and just keep up the harassment. Fervor is what really makes Pyro capable of being so aggressive, added to her long range and her stun. Here, I just like hit him and stun him, and just keep trading hits with him, and there's nothing Hag can really do. Look at that hit trade. So we traded hits and basically just like one attack for one attack, but my HP is like still over half and his is like almost 0. If he got hit 2 more times he would have died. Maybe even 1 more time, but probably 2. So that basically just tells you Pyromancer is extremely good in 1v1 auto attack battles, especially after you get Fervor and you have your stun. So make sure you do that with Pyro. Just make sure you don't miss your stun. In 1v1 situations, it's pretty easy to hit your stun. You don't have to hit it immediately. Just make sure you hit it without missing it, and hit it before you die, obviously. Given that amount of time in a 1v1 fight, you should be able to land your stun. So he's been forced to use his flask. Another important thing when you're playing middle is to watch the opponent's items. So he started with these items and a runes and a flask, right? So if we another important thing you want to do is count how much gold that is. So that's 100, 190 plus 150, so we're at roughly 340. Plus this is about 200, so it's 540, and this is like almost the full item. So he had like maybe 30 gold left over after he bought his items, which means that he won't be getting a quick bottle. This is basically just intelligence you use to just things to note. If you see them have a bottle rushing build, then you probably won't be able to harass them completely out of the lane before they get their bottle. But if they spend all their money and only have skimpy regen, or like get gimped in some way as he did here, then you should try to play extremely aggressive and not let them get their bottle. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to completely stop him from getting his bottle, and just harassing with stun whenever I can. Pyro is extremely strong in middle. I think she's favored against almost any hero in the game, just because of her extremely good harassing power, and also her long range. She's got powerful nukes, she can abuse bottle. All of these point to her being a great middle hero. So that pretty much explains that. For now, we don't really have any action, so I'm going to fast forward until action happens. Okay, so we're about at 2:27 now. It's a little past the last clip, like 30 seconds. Currently, I'm getting my bottle. I missed a couple last hits in levels 2 and 3, so my bottle's a little bit late, not before the 2-minute mark. But the rune is bottom, and he doesn't have a bottle yet because he was rushing it, or he didn't rush it whereas I left like 250 gold left over. So he does not have his bottle yet, which means the rune is a lot less valuable to him compared to myself as my bottle gets here. Since I'll be going to the rune soon, I want the lane to be pushed. That way no creeps will die to my tower while I'm away getting the rune. This is a good way to conserve experience. And I'm also going to play a little bit aggressive here, since the intelligence I got based on looking at his items means that my bottle is arriving now and his bottle's not arriving. And chances are, since he hasn't gotten the illusion yet, I'm going to be able to refill my bottle very quickly. So being able to fill up my HP, I'll be able to fill up my HP and he won't be able to do the same for his, which means that now, see, he just hits a blink away, and now I basically just bottle up and get a free rune while my creeps are at the tower. This is the situation you want to put yourself in, and this is mostly how middle lane is won. At 2 minutes, grabbing the 2-minute rune after pushing the lane and harassing him a lot is extremely powerful, and basically sets you up to win the lane, so that's something you want to be doing with any hero, particularly Pyromancer, because she's such a great solo middle. He actually does have his bottle, since he was doing a better job last hitting than me, but I've already bottled the rune and have full HP and a full bottle, where he has full HP, not full mana, and 0 bottle charges, and on top of that, Pyro's a much better harasser than Hag, so definitely ahead. This is kind of boring. I'm going to pop the illusion right now to help myself last hit. Another important thing to do is that, well, there's action going on, but before that, the point I was going to make is that it's important to hold your illusion rune until after X45, like basically so that your illusion will spawn after or your illusion will die after the rune spawns. That way you can use your illusions to gain an advantage at the rune, whereas if you pop them immediately, you won't be able to do such. Anyway, on to the action. So I hit a stun on Hag, followed up with a nuke. Anytime that you think you can land a stun, make sure you hit it in middle, because landing a stun is just so huge. You follow up with like 3 attacks and probably a nuke, and that completely owns anybody. Look at him. I lost not very much HP, and he lost a lot of HP, right? And I still have a full bottle, so trading HP is good. So I'm playing really aggressive here, since there's no way he can kill me, and I really want to just harass him out of the lane, since I'm ahead right now. If I was behind, then I'd be playing like over here, trying to last hit. But since I'm ahead, I'm going to be right up on him and harassing a lot. So one of my illusions died in the conflict, so I'm just going to send one top, and if the rune spawns top, then I'll be attacking it with my illusion if he's going to beat me to it. So anyway, that's how you use your illusion to help yourself get the rune. He is pretty much all in on having to get the rune right now, since he's like at half HP and no bottle charges. So he blinks towards top. I'm gonna walk there and micro my illusion, and I don't actually kill the illusion in time, but I do manage to get some harassment off. Not much to be done about that. He just went all in on the rune being top and got there. But that's okay, because I'm pretty much still winning the lane by a fair margin. Level 5. He's to get a bottle up from this HP to full health. I'm already full health and I have 2 bottle charges, so I'm about 2 bottle charges ahead. That's how I'm thinking about it. And basically just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Keep up the harassment. I'm gonna fast forward until I actually get some action. You pretty much just do this for the early game Pyromancer laning phase. So on to the fast forward. So here's the next action point. My allies actually planted their ward a little bit too early. Generally when you're warding the rune from a side lane, you want to ward it at before the 0 second mark, or after the 0 second mark. That way your ward will die after the rune spawns. But in this case, they planted it too early, so the ward's going to die before the rune spawns, so I'll have no idea where the rune is. It's a little frustrating. Hag is standing, like, leading me towards top, so I have to go bottom since he has portal key. And actually on the way bottom, I run into Deadwood. So bottom lane not only warded too early, also didn't tell me Deadwood was missing. But that's okay, since so far ahead of Hag, she can't really kill me. So I just run back to the tower here and survive. Another thing that's helpful is this ward I planted. Another thing I want to talk about is the Chalice. So I'm winning this lane by spamming my spells on Hag and playing really aggressive, not by grabbing runes ahead of him. Since Hag can pretty much beat you to any rune, you just have to make it 50-50 every time. And having Marchers isn't going to change anything about that, so I went Chalice. I actually go Chalice a lot now. And I'm just going to keep spamming my spells with it. And another thing I want to talk about is this ward. Having a ward on their opposing hill and middle is extremely powerful. Basically guarantees you the lane win, and helps, yeah, basically just guarantees you the lane win if you can see what they're doing. They can't use uphill fog to their advantage, all kinds of things. And also, it helps you see incoming TP ganks. And at nighttime your vision decreases, but the ward's vision does not decrease, so it's very helpful. In higher level games, people will buy counter ward for this, but actually this is kind of a high level game and they don't counter it, but sometimes they'll counter it and you have to put it on your own hill. This doesn't really work on Hellborn, but if you're Legion you can put your ward here and it'll see the tower anyway. Anyway, on to what happens. So I saw him here at about 6:02, which means that he wasn't really camping the rune, he was there early, but the ward was top anyway, or the rune was top anyway, so Hags didn't get that. And this guy's HP is really low, so if he comes up to last hit a creep, I can just kill him. I can pretty much kill any of them. If I hit my stun on any of these people, they're gonna die. But if I miss it, then they can go in for the kill. So it's a really dicey situation. I'm not gonna use my stun unless I'm sure it's gonna hit. I can use my nuke, however, since it's pretty safe. While I appreciate my allies TPing to help, I was definitely fine here. I hadn't used my stun yet, like I said. You want to save your stun unless you're sure it's gonna hit, and use your nuke for harassing / farming. Unless you're sure your stun's gonna hit. So there was no really real sure stun for me to hit there, since Hag was kind of like playing around it, staying on the edge of the range. So I just tried to nuke and kind of missed her, but I still got the creeps and I got Deadwood, so that was good enough. I don't remember if I got Deadwood. I think I got Deadwood. Anyway, it's not important. So at this point, they tried to dive me and I just backed, and my allies TP'd, which kind of sucks, but whatever. Right now I'm just gonna go heal because I'm low on HP and any of them can kill me. Yeah, that's that for that clip. On to the next one. Alright, so here's the next action clip. I'm just sitting middle, it's pretty much the same as always been doing. I actually just ulted Hag by accident. It was a misclick. I meant to cast Q on him, but I misclicked and ultimate him. So now he's gonna run away. But Bubbles is actually coming to gank me, which I don't immediately notice. What my allies do notice is they ping a lot over here. So I will be running to him. So right now the situation is that if I beat Bubbles alone, he can't really solo kill me. And I want to meet them before the creeps get to the tower because Hag's not high enough HP to tank the tower and Deadwood's really low level. So I want to meet him before that. Anyway, we run into him now. He misses his shell surf. And here's a really useful trick. Either your attacks or your allies' attacks follow them into the fog and you can see where they are. So watch this tower shot. It actually curves in here, so I know he's here and right next to me. So I'm just going to stun immediately. And it basically hits him. And I'm also going to bottle since I just realized that I was low on mana and didn't have enough to cast both spells. So I'm going to bottle so I can cast my Q on him. And Q him, and now he's pretty much just dead. Another thing to note is that a lot of allies TP in here, like 3 of them. When you're getting ganged up on middle, you generally want your allies to be helping you a lot. In this particular case, I was fine anyway, but like I said, their heroes aren't really good at killing at early levels. But if the other team is ganging up on you middle, you need to be letting your team know about it and asking them for help. Anyway, this Bubbles dies. I get the kill. A lot of wasted TPs for my team, but it's not too big a deal. And not much else important. They actually do counter this ward. Like I said, kind of a high level game. But I think it pretty much accomplished what it had to accomplish so far. Ooh, and I find a regenerate bottom. So since Hag is Hag, she is never going to be worse than 50-50 getting a rune. So you should basically just make it 50-50. If she walks top, then you walk bottom, etc. Also picking up my steam boots here, and since I got a regen, I'm just going to be continuing to sit in this lane. I'm going to be a little careful though, since I don't really want to die and Deadwood's around. So I'm not going to use my stun unnecessarily, and I'm going to stay back and not run all the way up to the creeps. So on to the next clip. Alright, so here's the next scene. I've just been laning middle against Deadwood for a while since Hag couldn't really hold their own anymore. And they just took top tower, I believe, because they got a gank off and then no one could really TP in time to defend. Even if I TP, I can't really defend 1v4. So now I'm going to try to take advantage of the ward I have here and hit a stun. So the easiest stuns to hit are the ones where they don't know you can see them. He doesn't know I can see him, so I'm going to hit a stun right here on both of them. Or at least I thought on both of them, only hits one of them. And basically just try to instantly kill him. He's at 777 HP, and my attack has to hit. Obviously I get a miss, so he doesn't die and he blinks away, but I'm not going to die, is the key part. So I survive here too. Anyway, since I know I'm not going to die, since Hag is like super low at HP and Bubbles is out of mana, I can effectively use my stun to farm and go to the fountain right now, since there's no rune, since they just got it top and I'm kind of running low and stuff, and people are going to come middle. So I just use my nukes to farm and go back to the fountain. I believe I go back to the fountain. I'm not sure if I stop by the neutrals. Yeah, I just go straight to the fountain. Anyway, next clip. So at the moment, their whole team is off the map except Hellbringer. We're about 13 minutes in. I was laning middle for a while against Deadwood, but no one can really sit in the lane, just sit there against Pyromancer because of her extremely strong laning presence. So they just kind of rotated, I guess, and went for the gank a couple times, obviously, which they've been through. But anyway, right now, none of their team's on the map, and we have some pretty good wards that are all in the common gank spots. So basically, that tells me either they're all farming the neutrals together, or they're holding hands in their fountain, which is pretty unlikely, or they're sitting behind Hellbringer waiting for Hellbringer to rock and then all jump on me. So since I'm 50% sure that's going to happen, I don't want to stay middle. 50% is enough to scare me away. I don't want to die at all, especially not before I get portal key, so I'm going to be pulling the neutrals. One thing to note is the time. Always pull, when you see the time getting close, like at about 40 seconds, you should consider going to the neutrals to pull them, since obviously if you go later, you're going to miss the pull. So things to keep in mind when pulling are just look for where the enemy team is. If the enemy team is going to be around here, then don't pull, obviously. And that's pretty much it. If you think you're going to be getting better farm in the lane, then also don't pull, just farm the lane. But basically every time the clock hits 40, you should be thinking about stacking and then killing the creeps. Another note that I wanted to make right now about ganking. So a lot of people think, it's a common misconception, a lot of people think that you should be ganking whatever side lane happens to be losing as middle. That is not true. Your gank should be based on whether you think your gank is going to be successful, not whether or not your lane is losing. If there's a swift blade just slaughtering your bottom lane, then there's nothing you can do about it. If you walk there to try to kill him, he's just going to spin and run away, and you're going to have wasted a million years while your mid opponent free farms. What you want to do is only try to gank when you're sure you're going to get a kill. So you're going to get a kill basically when you get a haste rune, or when your team is getting dived. So that's what your TP scrolls for. Other than that, pretty much I just don't gank very much at all. Maybe I'll kill someone in the river if they're being careless, but I don't really just walk to a lane to try to kill someone. Yeah, that's that topic. Anyway, I believe there's a push going on bottom, especially with an invis Bubbles. Never mind, Bubbles is top. Yeah, nothing much is going to happen. I'm just going to keep farming middle. If a fight breaks out bottom, which it looks like it did, I will be TPing. See, I'm TPing now. This is unfortunate that our Jerizai got bursted down so quickly and I wasn't able to come in time, but shit happens. So I TP. Unfortunately, our team doesn't really have any stuns other than Engineer, who is running away. I mean, like, initial stuns, and if I get in range to actually stun someone, then I'll be in a lot of danger, so I need someone to lead for me. As it is, nothing really happens. I was pretty sure I could catch Hag after he ran into this little nook here, but he ran out immediately, so I didn't get him. Yeah, it's just a high-level Hag play that I wasn't really adapted to. Make sure you don't get juked like that in fights, it's really big. So anyway, after missing that, I really have to run away. Fortunately, DS heals me, and also saves himself, but Engineer dies after my careless mistake. Fortunately, Pyro's such a strong hero, and they're still tower diving into our slithers, so hopefully we'll be able to get something done here. So I die because of my careless play. Got good for a lot while missing those stuns on Hag. But I believe we do kill Deadwood here, so that's good. So that fight, what I could have done better is I should not have committed to this area. When you're playing Pyromancer, you do a lot of damage with Pyromancer, and you're really easy to kill. So basically that means don't get focused no matter what. Bait your allies, all kinds of things, but make sure you don't get focused because you're really easy to burst down, as we saw there. So, and also make sure you hit your stun. There, obviously I threw like a 30% stun, and that's not what you want to be doing in fights. You want to save it for when the enemy team goes in. So I died. Obviously I traded 1 for 1, but that's still no good. Especially with Pyromancer, you need to be getting early levels, and you really never want to die. Dying is really bad. So that is that. I'm going to press play. And I don't believe anything else happens this fight. Ratio does not die. And we see a Bubbles walking here with Invisible. I don't think our Slither was paying attention, though. Yeah, he wasn't paying attention. Hopefully now he pays attention. We definitely just saw Bubbles there. Make sure you tell your team about things that you see in case they weren't looking. Yeah, he's pretty much fine. He's not going to die here because he's got so much HP and Bubbles is really weak. But it's nice to tell him about it anyway. So Bubbles ditched. Oh, Bubbles. Where is Bubbles? I'm going to cheat. Oh, Bubbles is still there. He's just waiting for Slither. He's not going to be. I still can't kill him though. It's really dumb of him to be there. Anyway, after spawning, I'm going to walk towards middle. But since Engineer TP'd middle, I cannot farm middle anymore. But we saw Bubbles over here, so I'm going to walk over here just in case something happens. So my decision here was either... So I was walking towards middle because that's where I wanted to go to farm, since it's the most lucrative place to farm right now. But Engineer TP'd there, which is an error by him, but you know, whatever. Neutrals are still available, so I could have gone to the neutrals to pull, or come here to check out what's going on with Bubbles. I probably should have just gone to the neutrals, since Bubbles can't really kill anyone and we can't really kill him, so I'm just wasting my time here. But anyway, made that decision and immediately realized it was wrong and realized that I couldn't pull anymore. So make sure you keep these decisions in mind. Pulling and killing stacked neutrals is a really fast way to get farmed on Pyromancer, and you should be doing it all the time. Fortunately, this Bubbles is really dumb, so he ran in here stupidly and got hit by all our AoE. So it all worked out anyway, I guess. Anyway, my spells are down, so I'm going to be running away from this Hag, and his team's right there. But now that my team is back, I will be running up the hill. So let's go over that fight one more time. I didn't quite catch the whole thing. So basically I'm running away, and once my team arrives, like our Demented Shaman's here, Slither's here, Jerry's had time to know that there's a fight going on. Hopefully he's coming, and our Engineer's already in, right? So there's a Hag here. I'm going to walk up to try to face him. He runs away, and now that Deadwood is in really big trouble since he kind of alled in on Hag's position, but Hag just blinked away, right? So Deadwood's basically dead. I know where he's going to go. He just rooted, and he's going to try to punch Engineer, so I'm going to try to stun him before he gets that off. So I stun him, and he goes down, unfortunately. CD picked off our Engineer with the nuke. And now my spells are down, so I want to run to a safe location, and that safe location is in this field, since obviously they can't go in without getting silenced. Since they're not chasing, I don't really need to be in a safe location, but if I did, that's where I'd be running next. Since we just killed 2 of them, we're probably going to push a tower. Pyro is really strong at pushing. Basically the fervor makes it so that you do continuous damage to tower. And your 2 spells, after the recent buff, your 2 spells just deny like creep waves as long as you hit them. So this tower is definitely going down. We just need to stop them from denying it. I'm not sure we'll be able to do that, but we will try. Yeah, we stopped them from denying it. DS had a nice slow on Hag there, which basically stopped him from denying the tower. And I am getting close to my portal key, so I'm probably just going to go to the Ancients, or not the Ancients, the Neutrals, and finish it off. So that's actually going to end part 1 of the video. I consider the early game over once Pyro gets portal key. So thanks for watching. This is Yoda from Team Evil Geniuses once again, and be sure to check out our forums for our general guide on Pyromancer and post any questions and comments you may have so that I can answer them. Once again, thanks for watching.